That's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to surely endow you to be his wife. But give me that Sirach 26:23. So guess what happens when you don't vet the man to where you can see that this man is that type of man who's going to marry you. Let's see what happens when you don't prove a friend and you don't find out who else he's dealing with.
Right.
You don't give yourself time before you jump into sack with him to actually find out who this dude is. Because I'm asking you basic questions about him and you like, yeah, he might be dealing with somebody else, but he got something else going on over here.
Right.
It's confusion. Right. God is not the author of that. And this is what you're supposed to, this is what happens. Read.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 26 and verse 23.
Read that.
A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man.
So a sinful woman is always going to find herself up under a sinful man.
That's right.
A righteous woman is going to follow the instructions of God and find herself married to a righteous man. So it's not just the man that leads you down to, to where you at. It's you choosing to follow a wicked man because there's wickedness in us. You understand? So I'm not saying that that you're some evil person. I'm saying that you're doing wicked things based on what you don't know. Nobody ever taught you this. And guess what? You're being taken advantage of by other wicked men who may know, may not know, but you're being taken advantage of. Read that again.
A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man.
So a wicked woman, a woman who don't keep none of God's commandments or who don't know God's commandments is always going to find herself getting cheated on, always going to find herself getting beat on, always going to find herself being misused, abused, and mistreated because God said that's the condition of the battle. Leviticus 19:17. So we have to understand that we're here to save you from the destruction that's coming.
Right.
Because it's only going to get worse from where you are. Because you're heading down a slippery slope of evil men. Read that. Like 1927. 1929.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 29.
Read that.
Do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore.
Because when a woman is not dealing, it's prostitute. We think today's term of prostitute, which is a woman getting paid to have sex, right? That's what we think that's what we think. But when it comes to prostituting, this is talking about a woman going from man to man to man, having boyfriends, girlfriends, and all this type of stuff outside of marriage. That's what prostitution is, according to God. Now, getting paid, being a street worker, that's another phase of prostitution. But it starts with dressing like a whore, dressing in men's clothing, dressing in provocative clothing, having boyfriends, girlfriends, and having sex outside of marriage. That's what prostituting yourself is, going from man to man to man. Read that.
Do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore.
To cause her to be a whore. And what happens when the women become whores? Read.
Lest the land fall to whoredom.
The whole city is going to now fall into sin. Because guess what? You are an example to the other sisters that look up to you. To the other sisters that see you, oh, she's an OG. She knows. She's been around. And if she's over here sleeping with boyfriends and doing that, I can do it too. So guess what? The girls start looking at what the boys like. The girls start dressing like what they think the boys like. That's why the sister before said what? Oh, you can't call Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B and Sexy Red, you can't call them whores because that's the type of chicks that you like. So she's defending them based off what she thinks he likes.
Right.
So now the women are dressing like what? Whores.
That's right.
They're dressing like whores. Give me that in Sirach 19:29. So we have to understand that this is the destruction of our communities, the destruction of our people. And guess what? Do men marry whores? No, they don't marry whores. Men don't value whores. Hey,
no, I don't.
We talking about your subject. Hey, because you said earlier, right? Sis, you come here. You said earlier, right? You said you can't call Sexy Red a whore because that's the type of chick you like.
Hell no, it's not.
That's what she said. But listen to what she's saying. Listen to what she's saying. She believes that with every fiber of her being, based off of something you did. Based off of what you did.
Because that's what y'all like.
Hell
We
no.
don't like whores.
We don't like them.
You
You said you like Sexy Red?
Fuck no, she said that. I didn't.
Hey, you know Sexy Red went around the black community passing around chlamydia that she had, right?
No, herpes.
Herpes. That's not
I like
order.
that. I like that.
That's
Okay,
not
but
order.
I'm just saying, just the way she dresses and stuff like that.
No.
Like, yes, you do.
Hey, can you
I
pull
wanted
up
to
a
dress
picture of
like
Sexy
that
Red?
right there.
Bro.
No, what the fuck you doing?
Hey, sis. We're gonna pull up a picture of Sexy Red, and we're gonna examine it real quick, right?
More skin than clothes.
What? Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Just Google it. Let me look at it. Let me see. Click on that one.
No, but it's like you guys can't find better language. They look on
Only
war
find
and what?
Let me see this. Let me see this.
Oh, the war is in the Bible?
Sister,
Okay, so why are you so
sister.
debating when...
What is appropriate about what Sexy Red is wearing right here? What's appropriate about it?
Shut up.
Oh, what's appropriate about this?
It's not, but I'm saying, like, that's what this generation likes.
Why? Why? Give me that in Jeremiah 31:22.
Y'all grown, man.
So sister, you said that's what this generation likes. Watch this.
Because
I'm
they're
gonna show
all
you
young
something.
and naive, but
I'm
you
gonna show you
grown, man.
something.
You guys are grown, you know the difference. You know what a woman should look like. But these young, childish men, that's what they like.
Okay. Let's deal with that. Watch this.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31 and verse 22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter?
So how long will we continue, oh backsliding daughter? Read.
For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth.
God created a new thing in the earth. Watch what that new thing is.
A woman shall compass a man.
What?
A woman shall compass a man.
It said in this new day and age, this new thing, women would surpass men. Women would surpass men. You know what that means? That means now that women are elevated to a certain pedestal, so where now, when a man comes around, they can't be told what to do. They can't be set in the order that God set them to be in. Man, watch this. I'm going to show you. First, hold that, go to 1 Corinthians 11:3, and then come back. God is about a certain order. Real men of God would not tolerate something like sexy red. And notice how most of that is only found in the black community. That's right. You don't see that in the Asian community, in Chinatown, in the Russian communities, in the Jewish community. Do Jewish women dress like that?
Russians get down.
Do you see Russian women walking in their neighborhoods, walking like that?
Nope.
Do any Russian celebrities dress like Sexy Red?
Bring it out.
Or Sukiana?
Nope.
Or Nicki Minaj? Do any of them dress like
Nicki
that?
Minaj doesn't dress that bad, actually.
Do any of those women make music glorifying sex?
I'm a fan of Nicki Minaj. She doesn't dress that
Let's
bad.
see. Read that.
And
It's
she's
the
a
book of
boss.
1 Corinthians, chapter 11, and verse 3.
Uh-huh.
But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ,
Read.
and the head of the woman is the man.
So God said Christ is the head of all men, and men are the head of all women.
Right.
In Jeremiah 31, he said a new thing would come in the earth where women would compass men. So now you have problems. Now the woman is on a certain pedestal. And guess who put the woman in that pedestal?
Men.
Who gave women that power to be above? You ever heard of Section 8 or WIC? Where did those programs come from? No, we didn't. No, we didn't create those programs. White people created those programs. America did in the 60s and 70s. At one point, the man was the provider and protector of the home. Now, remove the black man. Now the woman is responsible for her kids. She has to pay all the bills. She has to work 2 or 3 jobs. Now, guess what? In the music industry, in the entertainment industry, women are pedestalized, and now they wear less clothes. Now, guess who falls behind these artists? Sexy Red, Sukihana, Nicki Minaj, and Beyonce. Who idolizes them? Younger women. So now they look to these women to give them fashion advice, to give them men advice, to teach them, I don't need a man, I'm independent. I can have sex with whoever I want to. That's what's pushed today. That's how women compass men. Read Jeremiah 31, 21, and 22 again.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31 and verse 22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter?
Read.
For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth.
And God says you're backsliding, meaning you're going backwards. You're not progressing, you're regressing.
Right.
Even in slavery, the woman knew to stand next to her man. Did you know that in
I
slavery?
mean, well, in slavery it's different.
So now, why does the black woman have to be independent from the black man? Why?
Because we're not getting beat on by that. Well, kind of.
What kind of men are you being around that beat on you?
Yeah.
Maybe it's not so much. No, watch this. Think about this, my sister. Think about this. Maybe it's not so much the black man in general, it's the type of men you put yourself around.
But, okay.
Think about it. All black men are not bad.
It's a Rock 26 again.
Think about it. Are all black men on the earth evil?
Yes.
Yeah?
I'm joking around.
Think about it. Why would that even be a joke for you to say?
Right.
White women don't talk about their men like that.
Because
Right.
they get taken care of. They don't have to struggle.
So what's wrong with the black men today?
They feel like they shouldn't have to take care of a woman. They feel like women should do this. Women
Go
should
back to Sirach.
Bro,
Go
you know
back
how
to
many
Sirach.
niggas? Bro, don't even say.
So you're 16 years old, right?
Don't even say.
You're 16 years old,
Yeah.
right? Okay, no, give me chapter 7, verse 25. I'm going to show you where you're supposed to get that proper example. And guess what? A lot of our sisters grow up without the right guidance around them.
Bring it out.
Now watch what God says.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 7 and verse 25. Marry thy daughter, and so shalt thou have performed a weightier matter.
Verse 24.
Verse 24.
Watch this.
Hast thou daughters? Have a care of their bodies.
So this is in the Bible, this is being addressed to a man, right? A father. It says, read it again.
Hast thou daughters?
If you're a father and you have a daughter, what are you supposed to do?
Have a care of their body.
Have a care for their body.
Right.
Watch over their bodies.
Right.
Meaning everything about you, a father is responsible for.
Bring it out.
Read.
And show not thyself cheerful toward them.
Meaning don't play around with them and have too much fun. Don't be best friends with your daughter. Don't be best friends with your children. Read.
Marry thy daughter, and so shalt thou have performed a weightier matter.
So a father's job is to prepare his daughter to be married to the right man.
Read that last part again.
Not to be in the streets, not to be going out to parties, not to be listening to women that tell you you don't need a man, because the first man in your life is supposed to be your father.
Right.
Was your father in your life? Okay, now guess what? If you didn't have your father, who should you turn to? You're supposed to turn to the men of the community. Now, in America, the black man's image has been destroyed through hip-hop, through the workforce, Section 8, oppression. We've been destroyed, but the Spirit of God is coming back on the men to be protectors and providers of the community. And guess what? Our sisters have to get in line with that. You have to understand what God is saying. Even in the time of the Bible when the men were weak, you had women like Deborah in the book of Judges. She didn't forsake the community. She didn't turn and do her own thing. She said her mind was towards the governors of her people.
Right.
So she still stayed in the Spirit of the Lord. At some point, we have to be responsible for what's going on. You understand what the Bible is saying?
Wait, what the verse you just said?
You understand what that said?
Yeah.
Okay. What does it say? Explain it back to me.
Well, can you read it again?
Let's read it again for us.
Marry thy daughter.
No, verse 24.
Verse 24.
Huh?
Hast thou daughters? Have a care of their body, and show not thyself cheerful toward them.
So, you understand what that's saying? It says, hast thou daughters, have a care for their bodies.
Bring it out.
Right? Don't allow them to just go out and have boyfriends and bring a man home who they think is right. You know the power of a man is, or a father? We know the difference between men that have their best interests or men who just want to take advantage of you. Men can see that. Women don't know how to pick men. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know. I know.
Hell fucking no, you don't.
I know.
You are slave.
We can see. All we got to do is just ask them questions. What kind of family did you grow up in? What are your intentions with my daughter? Do you have a job? What are your goals? Where do you live? Who are you? What works do you do in the neighborhood? If I see him walking in my house, pants sagging, gun tote, gold tooth, whatever, if he does not fit what the Bible says, he's no good.
Fuck out my
Psalm
house.
37:12. So what's your name again? Naya. Naya, you have to recognize this. At some point, when you get older, you have to take responsibility for your actions. Because you're going to get to a point in an age very soon where you're going to be touched by the wrong people so many times that now you're going to be looking for love in the wrong places.
I do that already.
So what's the solution? You have to stop.
She has horrible taste in men.
That's okay. Guess what? I'm going to show you something. Watch this. This is how you can choose the difference. This is how you can, when you get old enough, this is how you can make the choice.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 37 and verse 12. But be continually with the godly man, who thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord.
You hear what that said? It said, be continually around godly men that you know keep the commandments of the Lord. My question for you is, how do you know if someone keeps the commandments?
Ask them the 10 Commandments. They should know off the top of their head. I know.
Sir, we speak English over here. Sir. Stand, do me a favor. Stand right there. Thank you. How do you know someone keeps the commandments?
No te conviene, güey. Veremos, estoy llamando todo. ¿No me estás llamando, güey? ¿Me estás llamando? Ahí estoy.
Let's see how they live their life and observe their life.
Ahí
Okay. That's true. Now watch this.
6
and 7, chapter 6 and verse 7.
It's the book of
Sirach.
Sirach.
María.
Sir, we speak English here. You have to speak English.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 6 and verse 7. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first.
The Bible says if you were to get a friend, whether it be man or woman, prove them first. Prove it.
Ya la Biblia todo.
Test them. See who they are. That doesn't happen overnight. That takes time.
Es la Biblia.
Read it again.
If thou wouldest get a friend,
Hey, my man. Take a step back. Take a step back.
Back up. Read it again.
if thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him.
Don't be so quick to give him credit. Don't be so quick to put that label on him as he's the person that I should be, or he's my friend. Read on.
For some man is a friend for his own occasion.
What do you think that means? Some man is a friend for his own occasion. What do you think that means?
That means that they.
Don't be afraid to for his own interest.
Yes.
Did they ask me or you?
Go ahead. I want put it in your own words.
I was gonna say that people that they're trying to be your friend only when it matters to them or only when it's good for them.
Okay. So now let's say I'm a man that I see you walking on the street, right? And I say, let me get your number, let me take you out. What could my intentions possibly be with you?
That you're trying to have sex.
Okay, so that's me now trying to deal with you for my own occasion. Not because of you. Now, on the flip side, if you see someone like me come up, what are you supposed to say?
Estás perdido.
I don't know. I just be like, I don't care about it.
You can. But guess what? Now, go to chapter 11. That's one way that's common, right? Go to chapter 11, Sirach chapter 11, 29. Watch this. Sirach 11 and 20. Now, let's just say that didn't work. I didn't meet you on the street and that didn't work, right?
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 11 and verse 29. Bring not every man into thine house.
Bring not every man into your house. Read on.
For the deceitful man hath many trains.
It said the deceitful man has many trains. Meaning, what a train, right? When you go to a train station, does a train only go one way? It has many different ways to go. Forward, backward, next track, this track. So I'm a deceitful man I'm trying to find different ways to get to you. I guarantee you, many men have tried to get at you in many different ways. They don't come the same way. Why? Because they're deceitful. Right? Read that part again.
Bring not every man into thine house, for the deceitful man has many trains.
So now, they have many different ways to get around you. So now, guess what? What's that? Okay, so now, guess what? As a woman of God, you have to be on the defensive in the right way. The defensive is by your actions and by how you follow God's commandments. Go back to Sirach 37:12.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 37 and verse 12. But be continually with the godly man whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord.
Verse 26, watch this.
Verse 26.
Yeah, no, right here. Right here. Oh, 35, 26.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 36 and verse 26.
Watch this.
Who will trust a thief well appointed?
Who will trust a thief well appointed? Read.
That skippeth from city to city.
That goes from city to city. That's what men do. They got a woman over here, they got a woman over there. They collect money from this chick, that chick. Having kids in different areas. Right? Read.
So, who will believe a man that has no house?
Who's going to believe a man that has no house? How often do you hear a story where a man, he gets a girl and he moves into her house?
That shit happens too much.
It happens all the time. These are the type of men you have to stay away from.
That's right.
But now, there are such thing as godly men on the earth. The Bible says you have to prove them and find them. But how can you do that if you yourself are not following what God says to begin with?
Right.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you. It's nation time. And finally, my brethren, be strong in the